Welcome back to you, baby dolls. I'm wearing my helicopter hat. Gophers is going to receive a huge update. A covered call and put options protocol. This is absolutely amazing if this is actually going to go through. Let's have a look at the cute gophers themselves. Yay! Wee. This is wonderful to see, friends. This is adding to the complexity of PulseChain. It kind of means when these eventually do get out, though, we're later than what they are now. This is what you want, though. It's the growth, okay? Now, the gophers update, friends. Look, you can decide what you want to do, what you do with them. I have both the gophers, Ethereum and PulseChain one. I'm not touching them. I decided this is me. It's a new token standard, ERC404. If it even has a small chance of erupting, there's too much upside, man. I'm not giving this up, especially when PulseChain is not even 3x above day one sack. Okay, and also when you're looking at something like this, these are the roadmap to this. It's changed the game now, because now things are getting really juicy, friends. You see, I mean, just for example, PHAME, so Bucks Protocol, it's worth like 30 million valuation right now. So if you're going to have something in the vicinity of that, this thing's still like a third of that, just to give you an idea. But the product isn't out yet and everything, but just showing you, like, we haven't even started. Now, this update, friends, is absolutely freaking enormous, because what you can see, so this is actually Mr. Dipcatcher's update, and he's got some cute words here to show. Look at this, man. There's a combined 14 million market cap. What it hit, it did 1.3 million in buy-side liquidity. Like, this is huge, by the way. This is like, whoa, 2 days. What's going on here? New token standard, cute meme, and he's actually going to be adding some more. So what is the covered call and options protocol? It'll allow you to earn yield. Okay, it's not free yield, though. It's actually yield from Usecase. Speculators can bet on the future price volatility. So, look, right now, PulseChain ecosystem is enhanced. You have Bucks Protocol. So Bucks Protocol, he has FAME. You know, famous. You can leverage long and short. We all joke like, okay, it's used for like degen gambling and stuff. Yes, it is 99% of cases, but the real use case is hedging. That's why it's actually there. Okay, it's meant to be for hedging, right? Just like Bybit and Binance is for hedging, right? But no one really uses it for that. But it's there for big players, sophisticated players who know what they're doing. And let's use an example of Wallet D01. Now, Wallet D01 has like 140 billion PulseX, like an enormous amount, maybe 70 billion now, millions. It's huge. 140 million HEX, just enormous amount. Okay, now let's say HEX went to $1. Let's just stake on HEX. HEX went to $1. He can't sell. He's got 140 million HEX, right? He can't click sell because he would slap the price 50%. And then there's like 3 people that want to sell with him. They all just send it to zero, literally. Instead, what they do is they'll go to FAME and they'll look at the protocol and they go, okay, I can't sell $140 million. But what I can do is I can say deposit my HEX as collateral. He puts it into the protocol. Let's say he puts in like 28 million. Let's say 1/5, whatever, okay? Puts in a fifth in, and what he does is he puts on a short. And the short, though, if it keeps going up, yes, his short's going to lose money. So you've got to fine tune it to make sure you don't get wrecked right straight away. So if the HEX went up to $2, he loses all his money, but he owns all the HEX, so he can keep dumping along the way. Do you see what I mean? Now, if HEX went down, that's good, right? He's going to lose value on his spot HEX, but his leverage trade is making profit. Do you see? And I can show it to you. Let's look at the EHEX chart. Let's say in the future, friends, let's actually use a log chart. Let me show you. Actually, let's use a linear chart just so it's easier. So you really got to accentuate these. At the top, let's say HEX actually does this is like total HEX, right? If total HEX actually gets to $1 up here, okay, remember, you don't know the future, but you got 1 year to go. So either HEX keeps going up or it goes down. So if you hedge at this point, you are protecting for both these scenarios. You understand? So at this point, this is what Mark Cuban did. We're going to explain the example. That's what Gophers will basically let you do. So you be able to hedge here. You go, okay, look, in the next year, either HEX is going to go up to $2, in which case you're selling along the way, or HEX crashes from here anyway, and my leverage short, I'm able to get out slowly. Now, that's basically what it is. It's wonderful, isn't it? However, there's a cost to this. You don't get a free free hedge because you're taking the other side of somebody else, okay? Now, that's what this GOFURS protocol that you do. Also, there's another GOFURS update. They're going to get hats. Now, no one understands the options volatility part. You understand hats. So it's just funny, friend. The thing's going to keep being built. Mr. Dipcatcher is a very well-respected individual. He made the Maxi project, just to give you an idea. Friends, sorry, I don't know the stats on it. I think it locked up 500 million or 1 billion HEX for like 15 years. I forgot what the big stake is, or 100 million. Anyway, it's just a lot. It's a lot for a 15-year stake, and he's basically really committed. He's the same tier as Hedging and Icosa founder Alex Magic Bid. So Alex Magic Bid and Dipcatcher, they're like top builders, esteemed individuals. They're very, very smart as well, okay? So it's beautiful that these things can be even developed. And once again, look at the pictures. Everyone's just going to be looking at these, friends. That's all everybody understands. There's DeFi stuff here and there. It's cool, though. It's cool. But don't you want to know, like, if you're going to hand out yield, that's the thing, man. If you just hand out inflation, you need proper growth. You can only be like a base money. You can't. Everybody just can't keep making a base money. Just like HEX just hands out inflation, just like Bitcoin, right? So with this, you need like a use case, but it's beautiful. If this actually works out, it'd be fantastic. Okay, now let's go through, and I'm just going to show you Mark Cuban. Don't know if you know, friends. Mark Cuban, he would be all in on GOFURS right now, literally all in. In fact, I should probably tag him right now. That's exactly what I've done, funny friends. See, this one, man of my word, friends. Actually tagged Mark. He's probably going to block me, but I mean, who cares really? 8.8 million followers now. It became very, very famous, okay? So big things, friends, are coming to PulseChain. You got to have faith, that's it. It's just like there's a city, okay, it's not a real city, it's just like a block of land and just people are building. And like, hey, one day the buildings are going to be really, really tall. There's going to be supermarkets and orange juice factories and everybody's going to be wearing fluffy slippers. It is what it is. As humans, you have to speculate, okay? You can't own, $15,000 apartments in New York. No, but you could back when it was in New York and it was just a block of land sitting around there, okay? So these chart prices, that's why I'm saying I want to let these print out for the year, man. I don't know. I just feel like if we screw this up and this was it, man, you never forgive yourself. How many times, friends, I made so many videos. I'm going to play for you some angel music as well. So many videos, man. I've told you, what's the holy grail of crypto? A cycle 1 narrative. That's the holy grail. Because you got the cheapest price, the most emotional money. That's crazy, right? Cycle 1 narrative, cycle 1 coin. Bang. So a coin with no resistance, the infinite possibilities, it attracts the most amount of people coming in. And there's no competition. It's beautiful, right? So what would GOFURS actually really let you do? It lets you just protect against a portfolio crash. Now, remember in my example, I told you, well, Wallet 1, they could use PHAME and short right now. So there's other methods of hedging as well. You can also grab. So what happens, friends, is as long as all these protocols keep getting built, there's liquidity pockets everywhere, and the whole system's volatility will dampen. It doesn't mean it doesn't crash. It does dampen over time because you just have less players. Like, for example, Wallet 1, friends, just to show you, he literally had like 180 million HEX at the top here, okay? 180 million HEX. He started selling, but he didn't sell all of it. He sold like 120 million down here. He literally sold a bit, nothing. Okay, just sold everything down here. He's one of the 4 poopy horsemen, literally down here, and then we rallied up. So he was meant to have, I think, like 100 million in his wallet, or 90 million, but he's got 12 million DAI in there now. But he's got more because he sacrificed heaps of Pulse and PulseX. But you get the point. See, look at this, man. He could think about that, man. You could have had 100 million. But it is what it is. Now at least you know how to hedge. That's why these people don't get things right all the time. Now, let's look at Marky Cuban. So Marky Cuban, I have the chart here. He hedged and saved himself from losing $5 billion. So this was Yahoo. So what happened was Marky had a company, broadcast.com, and it was just like radio on the internet. And do you want to know how much Yahoo paid for that? $5.7 billion. And it was at the top of it was the end of, man, the technology run, 10 years of up only, the very end. Now, he sold here, okay? He actually liquidated his shares to Yahoo over there. But here's the thing. This is how you have to bunny hop. They gave him Yahoo stock for it. And they said, well, we're going to give you Yahoo stock and there's a lockup. You can't sell for like a year. Okay, you have a 12-month lockup, you can't sell. And he's like, okay, sweet. So he sells for 5.7 billion. That's crazy, man. What a bubble, man. Now you can see why everything got rinsed after. He dumped his company at 5.7 billion, but he had a 1-year period of what to do. So what he did was he went to actual Goldman Sachs. Okay, see, friends, now you don't need the Goldman slugs anymore. We actually have DeFi, and I can actually tell you, hey, this is what you do, and it all works on chain. But he had to go to these financial advisors, and ones that weren't wearing helicopter hats, and they told him, go, look, you have a 1-year period of where you've exited. The stock could drop 99% in the next year. Now, he didn't know that, just, but it could hedging. They're just thinking about it. They go, okay, well, what do we do? So legally what he said is what he was allowed to do, because you're not allowed to short your own stock. You're not allowed after you sell to go do something. You can't like manipulate stuff. So he then went to an index, and they set up an index for him, and they go, okay, look, you've got $5.7 billion. We know you have that. He said he used a lot of his own money, and he put on a big short. Now, look what happens after he's short. His short lost everything. Okay, look at this. It went up. Now, it's just funny, right? So the stock went from $70 to 210. It freaking tripled. You see that? It tripled, man, from here all the way up here, and it liquidated his short. However, that was protection. It's not a real loss. He was getting $5.7 billion of money unlocked in a year from now. So he put on a short. He's like, look, man, I want to put on a short where if the index drops down, I will make like maybe $1 billion, $1.5 billion in that 1 year. And that's exactly what he did. Okay, you can do this, friends, yourself now, right? Like if I told you, let's say you've got an ICO unlock. This is what people did, by the way, in the previous bull market. So let's say you had an ICO unlock for coin Flow. I was in ICO Flow. Well, it was a public one, public on CoinList. Now, what people wanted to do was they wanted to short a Flow perpetual, but you don't have an index for that because it's a shit coin. Okay, it was very, very rare. There was no one's going to give you leverage on your thing, so on your unlock coin. So what you'd have to do is you have to find other ways to do it. And what they did was, a lot of people, what they would do, they would short Ethereum because they think, okay, if Ethereum goes down, then my flow, like if Ethereum drops 20%, my freaking flow is going to be down 40%. So that's what people did. They said, well, if I have $100,000 of this flow coin unlock and it's coming in 6 months from now, I want to lock that money in. And that's exactly what they did. They went to Ethereum, and other people, they'll use Bitcoin as well. They try to do their own models of how they do it. And they go, okay, let's put on a short so that if Ethereum is $3,000, if it goes down to freaking $1,000 or $2,000, I'll make X amount. That should cover the loss of that. I'll make 50% on my whole thing. Okay, but you got to be careful, because what if it pings you up and then gets you out? So these things aren't perfect. That's exactly what happened to him, right? It went up and liquidated him. However, he got the unlock. You see, he got the unlock at the very, very top. So his short gets wiped out. Now he gets unlocked $5.7 billion of Yahoo stock, $183 a share. And what he did was, at the top, they found all these market makers who were doing options, and he bought puts of them. So he says, basically, hey, he goes to every guy. He's like, hey, I'll give you $100 million for this put. Okay, look what the strike price does, by the way. So if you zoom in, friends, this is why this is really cool when this works out. You see this horizontal, see this red line, this green line now? That was his strike price. So he literally had this big, probably did it up here, literally the top. And they're like, sweet, you have a put, right, at $183 a share. But he paid a big premium for it, okay? So he probably paid, I'm not just guessing, he probably locked in down to down here. I'm just guessing. So effectively what it means is he paid them so much money, he doesn't really profit until it drops below, say, $140. And it did actually went down 90%. Because that's how probably GOFURS is going to have to work, okay? Now, remember, it's covered calls and puts, which means you got to own the stock, or you got to own HEX or Pulse or PulseX, whatever you're insuring against, okay? So there's no, naked of this stuff, which is, so everybody gets blown out. So that's in a nutshell what it would work out. And you can see, right, over that year, as it went down here, he made $5.7 billion on his puts. You know, he probably called up 450 people. Hey, 100 million, you know what I mean? And then it's amazing to work out. So his stock value went to zero, but he made money off his insurance and he covered himself. You know, so Gophers is going to have the same principle. However, there's no bankruptcy and stuff in crypto, right? You need all the money there. Now, witnessing Mark Cuban survive. This is how he survived. He literally survived. He had to do this. So, you know, he sold his company. I've got the example. He even goes through here. And let's use an example for Gophers, right? Protocol for PulseChain, PulseX, and HEX in future. And let's use HEX, for example. Let's use PHEX, okay? See, friends, is all the levels here. Let's say PHEX actually goes up to $1. Let's say we actually go all the way up to $1. All the way up. Let's say we go, wow, we're $1 up here. Now we're up $1. We've blown all these resistances. That's right, $1 PHEX. Here's the thing. Wallet DO1 has, so Wallet DO1, okay, now he's going to have his eyes. He's watching. Okay, he's watching. And I'm going to make, yes, so watching, and he's actually one of the 4 poopy horsemen. Here we go. He is watching here. He's got 180 million PHEX. So at $1 here, only 2 scenarios can happen. He's like, well, if we go back down 90%, I've lost literally all my money. Let's put on log chart. He's lost literally everything. As you can see right here. If it goes back down here, he's lost everything, man. Everything. Again. And if it goes up, if he owns, he's fine. So he's got these 2 scenarios. How does he protect against them? Well, I guess he would use the Gophers protocol, all right, and he will buy insurance. So what he will do is, this is what would happen. He would go there and say, hey, man, go to the Gophers. He's like, I want to buy insurance. And let's say he has a $100 million position. Let's say it's worth $100 million. He wants to hedge. He might actually pay, friends, like $5 million, right? $5 million into Gophers, right? So it goes into Gophers, just to say Gophers, yeah? And this $5 million is yield, all right? That's what happens for us holding it, if you're holding it. So this guy comes to your protocol. He's like, look, man, I want to hedge. I'll give you $5 million. That will probably go into a pool, and everybody staking Gophers will get a part of that yield. Though there's no free lunch. Because if the prices keep going up, sweet, you earn free yield. It's insurance, right? It's like if I buy car insurance off you and I give you $1,000 and the car doesn't crash, sweet. You're like, cool, I'm collecting $1,000. The problem is, what happens when it does crash? And when it does crash, Wallet DO1, he's going to get basically all the liquidity in there. And obviously, it's going to be covered and everything's going to be enough. But you get to see what happens. So this is like shorting volatility. It is what it is. Many people do this, friends. Many people tell you, you know, or whenever you hear like a big finance guy blowing out, 95% of the time, friends and family, they were shorting volatility. 95% of the time. Because it's a win 99 times strategy. And then when you lose once, you lose everything. That's what it is. So you're literally collecting $1,000. You collect $1,000 for like 24 months in a row. And then in month 25, you're trying to collect $1,000 again. Everything gets wiped out to zero. So this is just everything gets blown up like that because you're selling out. You should never sell insurance, friends. Like, would you sell insurance for like a whole suburb not to get flooded? You better know your maths. You know, better know like, okay, how often does it flood here and there? Okay, so but here's the thing: you can only lose what you put in the pool. All right, so it's not like people come for bankruptcy. So we have to design the systems for that. But then, because you can only lose what's in the pool, the price has to be enticing enough for everyone. So the yield has to be good enough for you and me if you're participating, but also it's going to be very expensive for them to hedge because you're not going to let this person put on any put and do that. So if we go back to this chart, okay, what we might find, friends, is that the price. See, also people aren't stupid. At $1 PHEX, no one's going to charge a small amount to let you hedge. It's not going to be like 5 cents of your $1 position. It will probably be something huge. Like to buy insurance, you will probably only get something like 70 cents. which effectively means even if HEX goes to 71 cents, he hasn't made any money on his position yet. It's only if HEX goes down lower than 70 cents when he makes money in his position, because that's, people aren't stupid. They know, like, for example, let's say Bitcoin literally goes to $120,000. Would you want to give away insurance for a cheap price to protect against it dropping below 100K? No, you wouldn't. You're like, man, like it's so up there, so high. The volatility is insane. I don't want to give you protection for a low price. I want to make you pay a lot for me. You have to pay up big. If you want me to protect you against 100K, pay up big, for example, or 120K up there. So that's what happens as these things go up, the volatility big, the price of everyone, how much everyone's like, hey, the insurance is a lot, okay? So I'm guessing in a nutshell, that's how these things would work. There'd be different formats, but like you and me don't have to do anything. We're just holding just to see, okay, what protocol gets built here and there. This is the future. This is you being early. It'd be beautiful to see. So yes, this is great because it's bootstrapping off the public and it's got nothing to do with a sacrifice raise or a fund. That's another thing. And he just provides his own liquidity. It is free launch. It's exactly like Hedging, Icosa. It's like Alex stuff. Remember I told you there's no sacrifice. There's no raising of this money here and there. But look, I don't want to dress this up. I don't even know if everything's going to be big or huge, right? But it is what it is. Always got to remind you, look at these big, see, it looks like big brain stuff, doesn't it? You're like, whoa, I'm so smart. I'm hedging. Look, you and me will probably have to do it, okay? Because let's say HEX does go to $1 and everybody says, oh, I'm clicking sell. No, you won't. You ain't clicking anything, okay? You're going to be praying for $2. But if you hedge yourself, you might say, look, let's say you have $1 million portfolio, friends, and HEX is $1. You can go, look, man, I should buy $50,000 worth of insurance for 1 year. Remember, it's timed. Okay, it's timed. You can't just buy infinite insurance. You only get it for a window of time. You go, well, now it's at $1. I want to buy insurance just in case it crashes because I don't want to sell. So you spend your 50K and now you have insurance. And if it drops hard, maybe your 50K where that grows into like 400 or 500K, it offsets you. But if the price keeps going up, sweet. You still own the HEX. So it's beautiful. You still are long. Yeah, that's why it's called a hedge. And you don't have to hedge yourself fully. You can just hedge yourself for a part of it. You know what I mean? You go, oh, I want to take profit, but I don't want to sell in case it keeps going up. Let me protect myself here. So you might find, let's say HEX drops 90% from that top. Maybe you only covered yourself for like $400,000 of your million. Okay, but it's still better than nothing because everyone else is going to be much lower. And this isn't a perfect thing, friends, because you're playing against people who know what they're doing. No one's giving you insurance for free. No one's making them cheap. They're making them very expensive. You probably wonder, oh, can I go buy insurance on Bitcoin and Ethereum? Yeah, you can. You're going to be paying through the freaking teeth, friends. Your teeth, your lungs, they are really expensive, man. No one wants to give you cheap Bitcoin and Ethereum volatility. I won't be surprised if HEX is at $1. The only way to hedge, you'd have to pay down to 60 cents. I won't be surprised. Would you do it? No, I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? So would you give someone insurance for it not to dip below 90 cents, 80 cents, 70 cents? You wouldn't. See, the market's smart because they know, okay, you drop on average 90%, you have big volatility. I don't want to give you insurance. We got to make you pay big. But you might find these people, remember, it's take it or leave it. This guy with 180 million, he literally can't get anything out. If he starts getting out like, a third of it, the price is down that much anyway. Okay, so this is what happens. That's why if the best scenario is you get out, you get the insurance, and then you dump a bit. And then you hope that you distribute slowly enough over time. Because if the market goes sideways for you to get out, you've bought yourself time. You're like, hey, look, I'll just give you an example. Let's say you literally had a $20 million portfolio in these, and you can't get out. Let's say you use these guys, friends. They'll have $200 million. There's people, they'll have $200 million if it gets to these big numbers. Okay, like there are people with $10 million of PulseX, and HEX. Okay, if that grows 20x from here one day, they have $200 million and they can't get out. Maybe the liquidity's thin, they can't get out, and they might say, okay, look, I need 6 months to get out. Or I need some amount of time. Let me buy $5 million worth of insurance, or $10 million, just to buy me some time in case there's a crash. And so they'll take 10 million out, they'll get the insurance, and then they'll slowly begin selling over time. Okay, because you just never know, man, how fast. Because, you know, friends, you've seen in altcoins, in a 60-day window, they're down 70%. 70%. So just think about that, by the way. If you had $100 million in the protocol, there is a chance in 60 days that 100 million says 30, and then 6 months later, it's back down to 10 million. Crazy. You had 100 million, you're now down to 10. You still say that's a lot. Yep. But these people, they don't look at their 10 like grateful. They're looking at their 10 like, oh my gosh, I've lost 90 million. So in a nutshell, that's where basically all of this would go. And all these people, they would hedge everywhere. They wouldn't just use one place. They'd put on a bit of a short using PHAME. They'd buy some put insurance. They basically just protect themselves out. And what you've noticed is, as this happens, the downside volatility, it basically gets healthier for us. So we probably won't see a 98% crash in HEX next time. I don't think you're going to see that. You might only see 90%, but you still say that's disgusting. Yeah, 90%. But then in HEX's cycle after that, third cycle, maybe it only drops 85%, 84%, okay, or 80%. That's what's happening with Ethereum, right? Ethereum dropped 94, back down only dropped 80. So that's what you're hoping happens over time. It dampens the volatility, but also what does it do, friends? It dampens the upside volatility as well. However, using the call option, using the options, you don't have to get the dampening of the upside because theoretically they don't have to. But traditionally, if they're hedging, that means they're looking for an exit. Okay, so you've learned a lot today, friends. Like, subscribe, belly button, or catch you soon.